Thank you. Please be seated.
State calls Lisa Murray.
Okay. Here we go with that, gentleman.
Do you solemnly swear affirm the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Good afternoon. If you can do so comfortably and responsibly, we would appreciate testimony without a mask
Okay.
on for purposes of a witness. Thank you so much. Go right ahead, Attorney Raymond.
Good afternoon. Could you please state your first and last name for the record and spell both?
Yes. Lisa, Lisa. Last name is Murray, Murray.
And Ms. Murray, where did you live in July of 2021?
At 4593 Oak Springs Circle in DeForest.
And you have kind of an interesting history with the 4595 Oak Springs Circle address. What is that history?
The 4595 Oak Springs address, or the Halderson home, used to be my mother's home. She purchased the home in 1982, lived there until she passed away in 2009. I lived there for 2 or 3 years, and then I owned the vacant lot next door and built a new house right next door.
Okay. So fair to say you're very familiar with the neighborhood and with that home in particular.
Correct.
Did you know Bart and Krista Halderson?
I did.
How did you know them?
Being neighbors, just cordial, in the yard, how are you? Just chit chat.
Were you familiar with Chandler Halderson?
I had met Chandler maybe once or twice.
So you knew who he was, but not any particular intimate knowledge.
Correct.
Did you, though, have a conversation with Chandler Halderson on July 8th of 2021?
Yes, the morning of July 8th, about roughly 8:30 in the morning, somebody rang our doorbell. I answered the door and then called Jay, and Chandler was at the door and had just said, "Hi, I'm Chandler from next door." And we just said, we're sorry about your mom and dad, And he said, yeah, weird. And I think the next thing he said is he was looking for help. So he was looking to see if we had seen anything, if we had surveillance cameras or Ring doorbell. I responded no, that we did not have a Ring doorbell. And then I think, I think we kind of started asking maybe a little bit of questions.
What'd you ask?
Well, I know Jay asked, are you the one with the neck brace? Because we had heard that one of the kids had fallen and had a neck brace. And Jay had just mentioned, is that you or your brother? And he goes, no, it's me. And Jay said, do you need to wear that? And he responded, no. And then he explained a bit about his parents, that somebody had picked him up, and he wasn't quite sure who had picked him up. And I guess it was unusual because we started asking questions and said, well, wouldn't that other couple be missing?
And what, if anything, did Chandler say to that?
He said, no, not necessarily. He said that other couple might have been going on to their next trip or continued on with their trip. And Jay had said, wouldn't they need to bring your parents back?
And did Chandler have any response to that?
He didn't have a response. He just was maybe an awkward silence and just said, I don't understand. My dad always drives.
How did that conversation end?
I think it had just become, uncomfortable for him. And after that, it was more, he just kind of turned around. Oh, I'm sorry, I did miss one part early on when he was asking about if we had surveillance. We said no, but we do know that other people down the street have high security system, or we also know other people that have Ring doorbells. I'm sorry, I missed that part, so.
That's okay.
But how it ended was he just kind of turned around and walked off the front porch, went down to the end of the driveway and looked left, looked right, and just started walking down the street to the left.
Ms. Murray, I'm going to approach you and have you look at what has been marked as Exhibit 54. Could you please describe Exhibit 54 for the jury?
Exhibit 54 is a picture of a window that I took.
Of whose house?
This is the Halderson's home. The picture is the west side facing window into the garage. There are two side windows into the garage. This is the one that is the closest near the pond or the lake.
And what date did you take that picture?
I took it on July 7th at 5:20 p.m.
And does Exhibit 54 appear to be a true and accurate print of that picture that you took?
Yes.
I would move Exhibit 54 into evidence,
Any objection?
None.
It is received.
and I would ask to publish.
You may. The photo should show up on the computer monitor.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Murray, why in the world did you take a picture of your neighbor's window?
It was very unusual that the window was open. It was July. It was very hot. And those windows are never open. That side of the house, we see out that side of the house from three different sets of windows, from our kitchen, from our dining room, and from our sunroom. We can see that side. And there's only 4 windows on that side of the house. I've never seen a window open there.
Okay. And that struck you as unique and you wanted to document it in some way?
Very unique.
Is that window, you've lived in this home, is that window difficult to get to?
It is. It's kind of an awkward window. With it being at the end of the house, you have to walk around the cars to get there. I've never been in the home since the Haldersons owned it. You have to kind of, we owned it, you had to fall over a workbench area to get to the window. So it really was an awkward window to open.
And the Haldersons had lived in that home approximately 5 years?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, that's the only time you observed that window open was July 7th of 2021?
Correct.
No further questions.
Cross-examination?
Just to be clear, that window goes into the garage,
Correct.
and you didn't have any recent reason to know what was the layout inside the garage at that time, correct?
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear you.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
You hadn't been in that garage recently, correct?
Correct.
That's all, thank you.
Any redirect?
No.
May this witness be excused and released from subpoenas.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your time. Have a good rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you.